This video is brought to you by CoolStuffInc.com, where you can find cool stuff in stock.
Hello, and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and I have to answer a critical question. What do you do when your whole meta is little white aggro decks and the WINOTAs who join the forces? What do you do when the entire world wants to spam creatures onto the board and run you over? How does one cope in such a world? And the answer is mono black. I think that one of the most polarizing decks in terms of meta, like if we talk about best of one decks, this mono black, Hateful Eidolon build of mono black that uses a ton of defensive auras like Deadweight, Myers Grass, Mogi's Favor to kill the opponent's creatures and draw a ton of cards with this 1 mana little 1/2 lifelinker. This deck is one of the most extreme things you can do in the meta because it farms aggro, just makes absolute mincemeat of aggro. WINOTA, haha, you die. White, you die. Red, you die. Sounds good. Sounds awesome. But what happens when you play against any kind of a slow deck? Steal and Sacrifice Rakdos or Mardu, for example. What happens when you play against Emergent Ultimatum? What happens when you play against any Doom Foretold? You have no chance. You get destroyed. So, how do you choose? When do you choose? When do you pull the trigger on a deck like this? Because I think fundamentally it's a very flawed deck. A deck that only has one good matchup with a specific deck style being aggro is not something I would normally want to play in best of one because you are straight up surrendering about 10 to 20% of your matches. And the other, you still have to beat the aggro decks. And while you have really good matchups with them, it's not 100%. You will still lose to their good draws and your bad draws. So this is not the kind of deck I usually like to run, but we're in special circumstances. We're in high Mythic early in the season. And you know who else makes it to Mythic early in the season? Aggro decks. That's right, aggro decks. So the inspiration for today's video came from me hanging out, just kind of chilling on my couch playing my Wano white deck in in Mythic last night, and I kept on running into one player playing this deck, and they were Mythic as well, and they were climbing and farming my mono white deck, and it was so frustrating. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna switch to Doom Foretold, and I queued up against this player 3 times with my Doom Foretold deck and absolutely demolished them each time. But it did get me thinking. It's a brilliant call when you really believe that your opponents are going to be playing aggro, and yeah, that's what Mythic has right now because the control decks, it takes too long. Not to mention control is a fine, refined art form. So, of course, they're savoring their time in Platinum and Diamond and picking and carefully navigating their way up to Mythic. They'll be here soon. But right now, there's no ultimatum in sight. So this deck just gets to absolutely terrorize all the WINOTA players and mono red players and mono white players who rush to Mythic. The deck is mostly Strixhaven free with a Poet's Quill being the main different-y inclusion. I think it's good because you can get it back with Luris if you mill it with Timurik, Calls the Dead. A lot of things already have lifelink, but lifelink is so strong against the aggro decks anyway. Throwing it on a Rankle, throwing it on an Ephemia might really help. And just having access, even through one card in your main deck, to 7 optional cards in the sideboard can make a huge difference. You may as well try to play a learn card if you're playing best of one, is the way that I see it right now, because I do think it's a very strong best of one strategy that you're not going to see in best of 3. So a lot of the net decks from tournaments aren't going to have it. So it's a good way to get an advantage on your competition if you choose to play best of one. I like 2 Castles, 18 Swamps, 4 Faceless Haven. I did mostly see I got to witness the deck a few times that I played against in Mythic, so I mostly took inspiration and copied it. I wish I could remember the name of the player, but I was on mobile. I can barely read the names of the players on mobile. To those of you spamming emotes at me, if I don't reply, I'm probably on mobile. So, yeah, I'm not sure who it was. Maybe they'll sound off in the comments. But anyway, 4 Mogi's Favors, 4 Deadweights, and 4 Myers Grasp make up the auras to kill the opponent's creatures. After killing your opponent's creature with the aura, you either draw a card with Hateful Eidolon, or you make it into a 2/2 zombie with Ephemia the Cacophony and create a nice wide board. Timurit Calls the Dead helps fill the graveyard and turn your auras into 2/2s as well. Also, we have Demonic Embrace, which we can throw in the graveyard with Timurit Calls the Dead. Throw this on a lifelinker and you're doing just fine. 2 Murderous Rider to kill things that these cannot kill. And I like it better than Heartless Act or Eliminate, because if you hit it with the Timurit Calls the Dead, you can turn it into a creature. You usually have the 2 life to spare in this deck. And 4 copies of Lurrus in the deck, not in the companion slot, as we wouldn't get to run some of these fun cards. And then 2 copies of Rankle to apply extra pressure and make the opponent sacrifice some stuff. Turning these zombies into sacrifice triggers with Rankle is pretty sweet. So, this is streak number 850 consecutive days of making an MTG Arena video. Today, we're playing in Top 20 Mythic. What will happen? Who will rise, who will fall? Stay till the end, and we'll go over statistics, suggested changes for the decks, dedications to my supporters, and, of course, the fabled outro that many of you, I know, crave and need so badly. So for now, let's dive in. Let the Mono Black Lurrus nonsense begin. Found a diamond player. Until Mythic fills up more, I will get paired against diamonds, but just remember, they were Mythics last season. It's not like a lopsided, unfair disaster like some people want to think about or want to frame it as. If you're framing it that way, you just haven't thought about it. You should be ashamed of yourself for not using your brain. They were all Mythics last season. They may as well play Mythics now. The crab is here. We get rogues. All right. So that's tough unless we can stick and keep a Lurrus, which is very hard against a deck overloaded with removal and nonsense. But sometimes we get some free graveyard value, so that can be fun. Let's go ahead and kill the crab. And we should have enough removal to kill a lot of their creatures. Unfortunately, these favors aren't going to do us many favors until they play something else. Then they escape from the graveyard and they can shrink our graveyard. The opponent says go. We'll play you. They'll play Thought Thief. We'll murder it. Two creatures down. 15 to go. Don't hit the land. Okay, so there's only 7, so they don't get to draw a card off this, which is sweet. Do we make them figure out how to kill the Lurrus, or do we play the Rider? Let's play the Rider. All right, miss your land drop again. I would love that. Aw, they're sad that they didn't draw land. Poor rogues. Poor rogues without their lands. Alright, escape. Shrink the graveyard. Don't know if they saw that onboard trick or not, but it is what it is at this point. Go ahead, counter it. Alright. It's a lot of creatures down. Do we hold this? Yeah, let's make this a better threat. We didn't want to play it pre-combat because we successfully killed the crab, which was all part of the plan. All right. And that goes on the bottom, so we're still at 7 in the graveyard. 1, 2, 3, 4 creatures down. 13 to go. Femi is really good against rogues too. I'm trying to decide if I want to try a Lurrus or a Rankle though to make sure that it sticks. Because I can't get anything back with the Lurrus right now that matters. I guess we'll try a Rankle. Success. Hit. I don't really want to discard, though. Well, I guess they have all spells in hand, and I can drop off another Demonic Embrace. It does put us on 8 cards. The problem with 8 cards is they can untap and cast into the story, but if they do, we hit them for a ton of damage. And they just end up discarding, I think, to hand size. Well, not necessarily. Let's do it anyway. They don't discard to hand size. That was wrong, but everything else was right. Of one mind? Okay, so they held up mana for something. There's a Thiefies. And then they find a land, but it's tapped. So I think they still have an Into the Story. Is there a way to... Okay, and they buy Luris. And they attack. Gamer moments here. Demonic Embrace again. We can hit the opponent really hard. But is that the play? I think Ephemia, with them tapped out, can come down and start exiling our graveyard a bit. But let's attack first. Let's discard. Can also sacrifice a creature to kill the Thought Thief. If I don't want Rankle around. They can't do much without their rogues. Yeah, let's do it. I know. I don't respect Rankle too much in the matchup, though. It's not that easy. It's pretty easy to remove. They can usually defend against it pretty well. Yep, one Into the Story gone, so they have another, I'm sure. Maybe I'm supposed to play something that they can't deal with, like, oh, we hit a Hateful Eidolon. All right, let's do that. This way, if they spend their turn casting Into the Story, we get way ahead by casting cards out of our graveyard and having a Luris sticking on the battlefield. Yep, there it is. Okay, 11 cards in the graveyard. How do we shrink it? We don't need to. Opponent, like, I guess I'm not beating that. Okay, then. And no rank gained. You love to see it. They found me a mythic player to battle. Yeah, all right. Let's see if we can get some rank off of this. No companion. They're probably aggro 2 Eidolons. Not 1, 2. Let's slow roll the Eidolons. Make sure that we draw cards off them. Yes. Good, good. If it had been red and they had killed one without us drawing a card, I'd feel bad. So do we leave this around to double Eidolon and favor next turn? I don't think so. I think that's a bit much. But this is going to make their heart sink. I know every time I played against mono black while I was running mono white, I just wanted to cry as soon as I saw the Hateful Eidolon or a combo. This is the Achilles heel to the aggro decks. Any deck that's trying to spam like 30 creatures, they're in trouble when they come up against this. Do we let them have this for a turn and just go Demonic Embrace mode and try to clock the opponent? I think so. Because we might draw another aura. Like a Mire's Grasp. And then we'd want to play double Eidolon and kill this, rather than use Murderous Rider. All right, they went to Regimen. So here's the good news about Sparring Regimen. When you play it with only one creature on the board, if I kill that creature, next turn your Regimen does nothing. And that tempo shift is massive. Now on the downside, they got reduced to memory, so they can exile this, and we don't have another aura to draw more cards because we're flooding. So that is a big sad. On the bright side, we have second Eidolon to re-equip Demonic Embrace and just keep chugging, even if they reduce this one to memory. GG. GG. When all your toys do nothing. Oh no, not that. Anything but that. Oh, I can't favor it, though, this turn. Sad. Gladly trade here. gladly trade because they're under so much pressure and we're gaining so much life. And now they don't have anything to use with their sparring regimen or their maul. Yep, you gotta play out. It's usually right with regimen not to play it on turn 3 if you only have one creature on the board, unless you plan to activate Haven and use that instead, which you can't do if you're behind on the board. So you gotta play out multiple creatures. You gotta play out multiple creatures. Rematch? Might be a rematch. Anyway, we're keeping. Eidolon. We got a few mulligans here. Okay. Oh, man. Oh, man. Poor mono white. All right, there's nothing they can do about this on turn 1. Unless they subbed in some glass casket action, in which case they got me. You know, they really got me if that's what they did. They've got a savior. They attack, no blocks. Eidolon is the kingpin of this matchup. The dominator. Femia, nice. All right, let's go get you. And draw. So, do we defend? I mean, we have lifelink, so we attack. Because even if they attack back, they're 1 life lower and we're the same. Alright, they're doing the regimen thing again. This time, I don't have an easy answer to it right this second. But we can play the Lurrus. The opponent has the reduced to memory. They'll probably reduce the Eidolon. Then what happens? Lurrus doesn't get back. If we play the Lurrus now, then they will reduce the Lurrus. We'll have a 3-2 and we'll still have our Eidolon. So what do we want the most? What do we want the most? We could also play a Femia and make a 2-2. Or we can Demonic Embrace and just hit. They hit for 3, they reduce this, and then we're down our card advantage engine. Lurrus isn't just in a position to win right now. I'm going to play the Lurrus. That's bait. I want the opponent to reduce it. Interesting. We could just trade. Then when they have no creature, their regimen isn't very good. I'm gonna do it. Gonna do it. Punish them for their investment in their doggy. Okay, they go elite. 2 cards in the graveyard. We need 1 more to bring back the favor on the Spellbinder. So let's see if we can make that happen. The things that Paulo here can exile aren't that good. Ephemia. I would strongly recommend often taking the most expensive card in the hand, but do what you want to do. Let's go ahead and nail this with the favor off the top, draw a card. Demonic Embrace, opponent runs to the hills. Man, the problem with looking at the opponent's hand is you know when they top deck a good card. Ah, this is the person who posted on Reddit and Twitter about dethroning me from #1 Mythic. So this is what we call a grudge match. Do we just fire off the Eidolon? I guess so. We've got Lurrus to get it back. All right, play your aggro deck. Play your aggro deck. Creature. Bone Daddy. All right. So, next turn we can Lurrus and get it back, or we can run Lurrus out this turn and see what happens. I think I'm supposed to play the Timurit Calls the Dead. Always play your Faceless Haven on 3 if you have choices. And let's exile the thing that Lurrus can't get back. All right, so we did put them off a little bit of development, it looks like, with those plays. Murderous Rider can't beat the Doggo. Let's keep the Deadweight. I think we're going to play Lurrus Deadweight here. We can attack and see if the opponent will discard to protect something and trade a 2/2 for a card in their hand. We do want to run them out of resources. It's part of the plan for sure. But we can also just deadweight the Hollow Blade. However, deadweighting the Savior makes Murderous Rider on WINOTA better and keeps the opponent from triggering WINOTA. Let's try to grind him out. Let's try to grind. All right, a little indestructibility gone. Here's Lurie, and they're gonna need to deal with that. Here's Deadweight on the dog. That will keep the opponent from triggering WINOTA. And now they have to kill Luris or the Deadweight just comes back. So if they spend their turn killing Luris, it's zombie versus Hollow Blade. Yep. Unfortunately, they have multiple Bone Crusher Giants. Feels bad. There we go. Keep that. That Rankle's a pretty darn good draw. Lets us trade our zombie for their Hollow Blade and make them discard another card. Make them fight this low resource game. If they have the third Bone Crusher Giant, it's going to feel bad. Because we'd have to sacrifice our Rankle if they killed this with the trigger on the stack, but they don't. For once, the Shuffler is actually fine. Blade Historian down. Giant. Land. Mire's Grasp takes care of the Giant. Do we want to discard to make them discard? If their last card was good, they would have played something other than the Giant, so I don't think so. Let's see what it... Make sure this resolves first. Another Giant. We don't want to let them draw cards either, because that's how they kind of regas the jet, so to speak. Now we have a land to discard, so I think I'm going to discard this time. I like making sure that these resolve before I attack, though. See if they held a land. They did. Yeah, pretty smart to hold a land there to protect WINOTA, who I'm sure is their last card. Favor, huh? What does Favor do? It's just another card to discard here. Swiftly end you. Stick a spear in WINOTA. You're out of there. Opponent resigns. Take that, WINOTA. Grudge match. Victim. Isolated. But for real. Kesrada, thank you very much for being a fan of the show and mentioning me in your Reddit post that got over 500 upvotes at the last time I checked. That's really cool, and I'm glad that you had a good time in our back and forth battle on the way up to Mythic #1. Somebody is trying to get out of High Diamond and into Mythic, and they have found the gatekeeper. It's me. It's CGB. Oh, and there is no one I love gatekeeping more than Mono Red. Yeah, -1 damage to any target. I should gain a life for that. That's just strict flavor victory. Charger Monitor. Monitor gets in. Cool. All right. No more Monitor. Well, I guess the unable to block thing is mana intensive, but is annoying, but I don't plan to block much anyway. Let's just go for the Charger. I should gain 2 life for this play. Giant. You also die. Kill it all. You're just lucky I don't have an Eidolon. Kill it all. Mono Red just dead. Rim to the rock. So what's missing here is Mogi's Favor and Eidolon. If I had those, I'd be really smooth sailing. Let's make some 2/2s. Man, beating up mono red never felt so easy or so good. Now we've got an Eidolon to get with the Lurrus. Nice. Here comes Torbran. All right. Well, that's something that survives all of my little spells. So, ouch. Also holds an Embercleave nicely. But let's at least start wearing Torbran down with a little dead weight. Now it won't deal damage. Fervent Champion. Scorching Drag. That doesn't go in the song. Alright. First strike means that it would kill the zombie because of the Torbran ability. Yeah, this can't be that bad. We'll just go zombie infestation on him. So we can Mobigi's Fate. You know what? We'll do this. This is how little respect I have for Torbran right now. I will has card. There might be a Robber of the Rich, which I would love to trade with. We are at 11. Where are you going, Mono Red? Didn't you want to get to Mythic? Yeah, gatekeeping Mono Red feels good. A demon child approaches. Also running Lurrus. His hand is funky. I'm gonna put Faith in deck to deliver another swamp, which it's done a lot. Oh, are we in the mirror? Mirror match. All right. If they get it back as a 5/5, so be it. They probably want that in the graveyard, but we'll put them to the test. Not a true mirror, of course. They don't have Snowlands. They're running Arcfiend. There are a few different ways to build this. I like the Snow version. I like the Faceless Haven beatdown plan as a backup when other things aren't going well. Although, got a few too many Havens right now. Would you like to buy your Lurrus? Yeah, they also have Companion Lurrus, which means they only have one. But they probably have Call the Death Dweller in various ways to recover it. And now next turn they can play Lurrus, get this back. And then I guess we have to Murderous Rider it and Mire's Grasp the Lurrus. So be it. You coward. How could you be so scared? Shuffler's fine. The staring match will continue until somebody is not willing to continue. I'm okay. I think that my deck has got better engines, is probably more powerful because it's not a Lurrus deck, so I'm trying to give myself time to draw into those things. Oh, you play red. So you might have Tybalt, Valky. Similar to a deck I played before. Alright. Play that. Exile it. Would be really great if I drew an Eidolon so that the Mire's Grasp draws a card off the Lurrus. Alright, so if they have a Valky, I'm particularly sad about this Murderous Rider, but I think we still have to make the play. At least they don't have a Village Rites. A Deadweight for your Lurrus? Seems good. So what's better, playing a Murderous Rider onto the battlefield to get killed or hitting with Haven? They don't seem to have any instant speed effects. So I'm just going to Haven up. We're going to try to pressure their life total with all these Havens. We've got to get them cooking. Like, if we're going to draw 4 Havens, we better use them to win the game. The opponent can get back their Lurrus, but it's the only thing in their graveyard. Because that's why we let them exile the Vessel instead of killing it with the trigger on the stack. The removal is probably enchantments, similar to ours, which is why the Havens are hitting so far. But I am worried about Tybalt. Alright, they called Luris. And they got back nothing, so their hand is pretty meh. They probably have a few Call the Death Dwellers. So let's just keep punching them in the face. Not give them targets for Ephemia. Alright, now they have an Eidolon. We have to make sure we kill that before we play another creature. Alright, they're going to throw Favor on it, so if it dies, they draw a card. Ew. Whoa, they're just going to draw 2. Okay. That's one way to do it. But we kind of like that. We didn't have to use a removal spell. Yeah, not that is one of the harder draw 2s to come up with. You you lose 3 cards, draw 1. All right, you get the Luris. The Pelika Predation, a little bit out of nowhere there. Free booties. I think this is a deck that I put on a video. If you're looking for it, it was several months ago, but I'm pretty sure I featured this deck. How low can you go? It's kind of a Valkyluris build. The freebooters were cool. I feel like they probably should be replaced now, though. 1 card. Let's go for the Quill. Quill might be nice here. Let's see what we can learn. It seems like Mascot Exhibition is the most pressure possible, and we'll start giving them targets for their removal spells. We'll pick the Deadweight because we have enough mana if we draw another Luris to Mire's Grasp as well. They do get to Mogi's Favor the Ephemia, but they have to exile some cards. And it does take some mana. And now they're going to be under pressure from a few fronts. They're calling Luris. Had a feeling they still had another one of those to go, which is kind of terrifying. They have a Deadweight. And now we need to kill this Luris, so can we draw a way to do it? Magic is easy. Just draw what you need. Where'd you go, merchant? Where'd you go? We miss you. All right, we'll play this, but we'll do it after we hit the opponent. Watch your manual taps with Havens. They do punish you. Oh, we drawing now. We're drawing cards. See, I knew they'd give me back the Mire's Grasp. That's why we deadweighted the Luris instead of the freebooter. Totally, that's the reason. It's not like I made a mistake. I don't do that. All right, let's see. Let's just put them on lethal with the Haven. See if they have the answer. They haven't so far, and Haven takes it home. See, if we draw all 4, it's fine. You only need 1. All right, come at me, aggro mage. And we go first. Must be my birthday. So if we play the Eidolon, they might play around it, but I don't know. Maybe we're just supposed to run it out in a deck with all these Luris. I always like to play it slow and draw a card because I'm blue mage, but I'm probably supposed to get over that and be more aggressive, especially on the play. The deck is just so underpowered without this card, though. At least that's the way it feels to me. Without this card and Luris. Uh-oh. Triome. No. Somebody didn't get into Mythic playing some kind of a control pile. That's... no way. This is Mutate, right? We can beat Mutate. Nice, that resolved. They have something that's holding priority. Didn't expect that to resolve. How could Mutate? How could the Mutate combo deck, the Open the Omen Paths Vadrock combo deck, how could that possibly be in Mythic already? Have you seen that thing play? It takes forever. Sandlot levels of forever. Actually, I think it's the dead weight. Because I don't think it kills anything in the Mutate deck. Everything has like 3 toughness or better. Spike Field Hazard was the thing holding priority. Nice. I wonder if there's any case to not let them discard. Okay, are you gonna die then? Oh, you gain 1 life. Alright, you die. Love it. Nice. It was Vadrock Mutate. 35-0. Easy. Alright, Eidolon, do your work. Let's hope there are some nice, cheap little creatures to drop favor upon. Oh. Mono red. Do I even want to favor this on 1? Yeah. I hope the opponent plays another. I'm kind of worried that they're going to play something with 2 toughness like Robber of the Rich, because that's how the song goes. Fervent Champion. Robber of the Fervent Champion. Nice. All right. Do they have a Frostbite? We're going to put them to the test right here. Nope. Draw a card. Oh, if we get this Embrace down, they are dead, but they'll probably play Bone Crusher Giant here. Because this thing gotta go. This thing is your worst nightmare. Robber of the Rich. Nice. Nice. Not a dead weight. Okay, not a dead weight. Go big or go home. We're working on our Baneslayer Angel here. Like, I don't even mind if they play an Ephemia, because I can Mogi's favorite and draw a card. Yo, what you doing? Yeah, you don't get a trigger. Yeah, you were supposed to do that first. Mono red. If you wanted to steal more cards, you were supposed to do that first. I guess I don't get the Mogi's favorite trigger just yet, do I? I need more cards in my graveyard. Let's work on that. Nice hand. Keep the pressure on. Gaining 4 life a swing. Yeah, you want to put that in my graveyard too? That'd be cool. Fuel for my fire. Coward. I know they can't win. I'll make fun of them either way because they're mono red. It just makes good sense, okay? It's what we do here. It's what we do. Especially when we get this matchup, the probably one of the best pure anti-aggro decks in the meta. Against just one of the most one-dimensional aggro decks in the meta. The Embercleave, Torbrand, damage or bust mono red. All right, Robber, you want to mingle? You want to do this? You want to get down with this zombie clown? I'm sure they really enjoy seeing the cards light up on their side. Poor Rankle, always exiled. We draw Luris. Luris sees what? There are Mogi's favors down there. I mean, getting the Poet's Quill is pretty funny too, because we can just make lifelink forever. Getting a Femia is pretty strong. I think they might be planning to grow this Robber of the Rich, though, so let's test them. Let's attack first. And yeah, I'm the beatdown. That must feel really bad for Mono Red. A Bone Crusher Giant has emerged. They must have drawn that very recently. All right, hit. They're gonna wish they'd saved it. Femia. Let's make more zombies, shall we? Torbrand. Okay. So if we block like this, we keep one of the token zombies. We play Ephemia from the graveyard again. It's fine. Yay, swamp. Could also Poet's Quill. We might be doing a mascot exhibition soon at this stage. I think they'll block the Luris, which is kind of funny. But yeah, let's get mascot exhibition. Let's suit up. Double lifelink. The true flex. Oh my goodness, they take it. Mono Red. That's so much. Move this over here. So it's on defense as well. 33-4. Mono Red, impress me. Show me what you can do. This is Mono Red. They play Mono Red. I don't think we turn away Double Eidolon, but if I don't draw an enchantment this game, I've only got 16 of them. The Aura style enchantments, I'm gonna be salty. Let's hope that this just scares them and they don't play anything cool. Okay. Well, our opponent understands there's only one way to rock. Straight from Sammy Hagar's school. Their finger, I swear, is hovering on the concede button if they see a Mogi's Favor there, but I don't have it yet. I need to top deck it. Here's the Sky Mall. Opponent is ready to rumble. The good news is they have to tap this, which means we get some life back with the Eidolons. Come on, Myers Grasp. Life is hard, okay? Life is hard. Let's get the Luris down. Right now the dog protects from the rider and it's indestructible anyway. We need lifelink to erase all this damage. Our opponent has an apparition. That doesn't surprise me much. And we didn't want the apparition taking out the Eidolons anyway, so that we can top deck an enchantment and win this game. It really might only take one. It's that simple, but we can't do it. Okay. Let's take him to the Rankle Rumble. We're definitely going to discard. Are we going to sacrifice a creature? Sacrificing these Eidolons is pretty bad, but I think we have to do it. Discard for sure, draw for sure. Yeah, let's sack. Ephemia's okay. At least it flies. Doggy, go away. If we can Murderous Rider this and get them to sack this, then we're doing it. Man, that's tough. No blocks there. Let's see what they can do with their 3 remaining mana. It's not another Skyclave Apparition. It's another card they can sacrifice and a dog. Alright, so we need to Murderous Rider to tap this, I think, which we can't do if they have the dog. Or we block with Ephemia, which is also kind of cringe. So do we attack with this to gain the life? and then sacrifice it? I guess so. But we can't draw. We do want to discard. All right. Oh, man. Oh, man. No auras were drawn that day. Sacrifice Doggo again? Or the Usher this time? Okay, Usher it is. Alright, Ephemia can block. And makes us another zombie that can block. Effectively 2 creatures in 1. But we have this dog that means that the rider doesn't work, so I think we just need to play it as a 2/3. And try to get the opponent's creatures down to nothing, because if we can do that, we can get them to sacrifice this Hollow Blade. Interesting. Yeah, they don't have the mana to move the Sky Maul, so if we can get rid of that frickin' Hollow Blade, we'll be okay. No attacks. Wow. No attacks. It's a draw. That is a draw. The thing is, I can't get through this thing, so we have to draw a Mire's Grasp. But let's go ahead and... Well, we can tone this down. That's interesting because it doesn't really change much. We still have to chump block it a lot, but I guess we have a lot more creatures if we kill the Apparition. But those creatures don't do anything. If we tone it down, I can take a hit from it without dying. Like, I'm not dead. Well, I guess I'm still dead to Alcide. But now Amogi's Favor kills it. Man, that aura is late. If only we'd been able to keep our Eidolons around. I think I did what I had to do to survive, though. They did draw the 4th land. They can move the Maul now, but if they move it while the Deadweight's on there, this thing will die. No attacks. Poet's Quill. That is epic. That is amazing. The one of coming through. So, we can cast the Fumes, but I think this is the play. Because I want this life. I want this sweet, sweet life. Each player sacrifices a creature. One of my zombies can go. What is that card in their hand, though? I think it might just be a land. All right, the Aspirant is here, but we went up to 8. Okay, they were holding back one of these. It's kind of odd. Just leaving 4 mana open, not playing something. I'm sure they have their reasons, though. They need to protect their Hollow Blade and keep it indestructible. So this is an offer to trade for the dog. I accept. Swamp is not it. So we can exile the Ephemia, and now we can attack with the Rider. The opponent is close to dead. Actually, we just do this, right? Don't miss lethal, CGB. Exile the Hollow Blade. That was on board too, but nothing the opponent could do. Game. Wow. That was... I thought we were going to lose to a matchup we should win. We were behind a lot there. And into the top 10. And we are back for the post-game wrap, and we finished in the top 10 Mythic, which is very exciting. But let's check the stats powered by MTGA Assistant, a free download in the description. And what do we have? Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you at? New deck. way to import that title. 76% win rate. Is that what I saw? I clicked away from it. Yep, 10-3, 76% win rate. On the draw 8 times, on the play 5. You love to see something that can put up numbers while being on the draw. And this deck has enough cheap removal that even on the draw against aggro, it can hold its own with a decent hand. The losses, we did lose to a Boros, we did lose to a Rogues, and we did lose to a red-black mid-rangey sacrifice deck that was particularly painful. But you see all the white and red along here, and it was just this is Rogues right here, this Esper looking thing because of the Luris. I mean, it was just farming aggro all day, and it was kind of glorious and beautiful. So I hope that you enjoy such content. Suggested changes. I do like the Poet's Quill. I like it better than the Eye Twitch, although I considered playing that as well. I don't think you need all the Ephemias. 3-2 is probably fine. Should I cut land? I flooded several times today, but still won a lot of matches. So if you're not losing to the floods, please don't cut the lands, because you do need them to play your spells. So if you can afford to draw a lot of lands and still win, you're looking at a pretty good build, a pretty good deck. And I love the Rankle. I did like Demonic Embrace. It could be trimmed if you don't want to craft it. Totally fair. But I wouldn't go below the 12 auras. Games where you don't draw them are so much harder than games where you do, and especially while we're farming mono red. I would also put this deck down immediately if you're running into a lot of Emergent Ultimatum. It's not worth it. It just gets absolutely destroyed there, or if people are playing the Doom Foretold deck. In fact, this is all a clever ruse, because if you didn't stay till the end and just copied this list because it absolutely rocks, then it's going to be time to pull out the Ultimatums again, or the Yorians, because the more of these in the meta, the better Yorian decks are. So my evil plot to play more Yorian is now unleashed upon the world. So today's video is dedicated to the people who have either signed up on Patreon or hit join on the membership below. Thank you to Tyler Dennison for 10 months of support in the Cool Kids Club membership on YouTube. You get exclusive perks. Check that out. All right. Names are going to be hard, okay? Cohen Mirbeek, thank you very much for 1 year on Patreon. Igor Privalov, thank you for the $4.99 Patreon. Lasse Jacobson, thank you for $29.99 pledge on Patreon. And thank you to Felipe Plante for a $9.99 1 year pledge on Patreon. You guys are awesome. So we are going to pick out a sweet cosmetic in your honor today. And okay, I kind of picked the deck today because of this as well when I saw it in the store. So we get Ephemia the Cacophony in your honor. So thank you very much for the support. And thank you for watching the video, because watching the content is supporting the content if you can't afford to support it. Just watching it really helps. Remember to leave me a comment. Let me know you stayed till the end. Remember to like, remember to subscribe, and as always, you're cool.